Hello, and welcome back, everybody, to the channel. We got a doozy for you today. We are going to go through June, July, and August, what I read. We're going to do a summer wrap-up. So, grab your bevies, grab a little snacky, because we're going in depth. We're going through these all. I haven't even counted how many I have read. Grab your drink. I have my little flavored, my little peach sparkling water for the hydration. And then, of course, because if we're gonna have this much of a video, we gotta have a little, I don't have my good tippy tappy nails anymore. That's a bummer. But we do have to have a little bit of energy. So, yeah. We are going with the pink slush today. To be honest, I don't know that I've ever had this flavor, but it came in a multi-pack with a bunch of ones that I do like. So, here we go, taste test. It's just strawberry. It's good though. Oh, okay. Yep, that's a good one. Okay, it is time to dig into the books. I read 32 books in the last 3 months, June, July, and August. So let's go ahead. We're starting with June and we'll make our way forward. First things first, I started off the month with an arc that I didn't know I had. What fun. This is worth fighting for by Jessie Q. Santo. And this is actually a meant to be novel, which means it is one of the Disney retellings. And of course, worth fighting for. I read the back. I'm like, oh, it's got Mulan. Of course, this is a Mulan retelling. Her and her dad work at an advertising hedge fund type thing. And one of their clients is a whiskey company, and Shang is like son of the family, all that kind of good stuff. Absolutely fantastic. I got this on indie bookstore day from one of my local bookstores as a they were giving these away as part of their like festivities, and I was like, oh, this kind of looks fun, I'll just grab it, whatever. Didn't realize that it hadn't come out yet, so I started this and read it in like not even 2 days. I just devoured this because I wanted to make sure that I got it out before it released. So I flew through this. This was an absolute 5-star read for me. This was so fun. There are 5 other of the meant to be novels out. I believe the Tangled one is by Christina Lauren. They are one of my favorite authors. So like will be reading that like so soon. I just thoroughly enjoyed these. I can't believe I didn't realize that. And so absolutely, this was like 5 stars. 5 stars. It was just, and like once you like start to like realize the cousin is Mushu instead of like there being like a pet or anything, and like they go out to a farm, so it's got a little bit of like cowboy-esque to it. It was such a good time. Like, yep, this was fantastic. Then while we were reading arcs, the next one I read was The 4 Engagement Rings of Sybil Rain by none other than our bachelorette queen, Hannah Brown. This is her second book, and apparently it is actually the second book to Mistakes We Never Made. And I hadn't read that one yet, but I got approved for the arc, and they are interconnected standalones. So I was like, okay, great. I will read the 4 Engagement Rings, and I absolutely will be going back to read Mistakes We Never Made, because like I had such a good time with this book. I gave it an 4 stars. Very solid. It was just like, I don't necessarily relate to either Sybil or Jamie necessarily, but like I enjoyed it so much. Like their chemistry was just unmatched, and like it was such a good time. This is what I wanted when I wanted that start of summer feel, because it takes place, I believe, in Hawaii. Probably not. It takes place on like an island beach resort type thing. So like that was just an absolute like perfect kickoff to my summer reading. I wanted all the beach vibes, wanted little umbrella drinks, I wanted it all, and it was just so good. The like Goodreads kind of description of it says that it's Forgetting Sarah Marshall meets like Anyone But You, and I could not agree more. I thought it was like the perfect like balance of both, where like Sybil is really like chaotic and like fun energy, where Jamie is a lot more like rooted and grounded, and they kind of like refigure out how well they balance each other out. And so it was just an absolute fun read. I will be going back and reading Mistakes We Never Made, because it was just absolutely such a fun time. After that, I am one of those that has been reading the Dream Harbor series, otherwise known as the Pumpkin Spice Cafe books that went like mega viral on TikTok. I started reading them last fall, so I've been kind of keeping up with the series. And I did get to the Strawberry Patch Pancake House. in this June, and it was fun. It was just a fun little read, I'll be honest. So I gave it a 3 stars because it did have the trope. It had the trope that I do not like. I just don't think it's necessary. I'm sorry, I don't. I've yet to see it good, and I just don't think it's necessary. Skip this little part. I'm gonna go in and talk about that trope, but I don't want to give spoilers to anything. So and it is kind of a spoilery trope. That's why I'm not super open about it. So just skip this little part. We'll put a little time code here, but just skip to it. It has the accidental pregnancy trope because she's always concerned about being a mom. She can be concerned about, so let's back up here. I'm already getting heated because I thought this book was going to be a 4-star book. I loved this book. I loved Archer. I loved the fact that he was a chef, that he was taking on being a single parent so well. And after the Christmas tree farm, I loved seeing Iris as a full-fledged character, not just a side character. I thought she was absolutely wonderful. She was such a gem. And so, but she has a lot of insecurities on being a mother and things like that. And so I was like, okay, cool. This is going to be one of those wonderful stories where she learns that she can be a stepmom and a very full parent to Archer's daughter, Olive. But no, they did the stupid trope where they do this accidental pregnancy thing. And then she's like, I am a mom. And it's no, I don't like it. I just don't think it's necessary. I find me a book that it is done well and maybe change my mind. 90% of the time, an accidental pregnancy trope is not needed. It's just that simple. So this did get bumped from 4 stars down to 3 stars. I obviously will be continuing the series because I think they're fun. So no big deal there, but it is a 3-star read for me. I loved Archer. I loved Archer. I loved Iris. I thought she was a gem. I thought it was really fun to see just how typically the more flighty one is the newcomer to the town. And so I thought it was really fun to see her be the one that was so invested in the community, but also be kind of flighty. I thought that was kind of something you don't typically see. Typically the ones that are deeply rooted within the community are the ones that the newcomer is the flighty one. So I thought that was a fun kind of twist on it. And then, as we all know, 3rd season of The Summer I Turned Pretty came out this summer, and I've been thriving, living my best little summery life in Cousins, at the beach house, and now of course in Paris. And when this video comes out, so I am recording it the week before the finale. This video will come out the day after the finale. So we are in deep, friends. We are in deep, and so naturally we had to do a reread. I went to Colorado with my mom to go see Post Malone. Cool. She's not a big reader, but she hadn't read them, but she'd seen the first 2 seasons with me and really loved it. So we actually did these on Audible. And I don't know when the audiobook narrator changed, but it's now the cast. So that's we flew through these as an audiobook. This was so much fun to listen to in preparation for the 3rd season. So, loved this, devoured these. These are 5 stars. Now, I don't know that I would give them a 5-star. I didn't give them 5 stars. I read them for the first time in 2011. And I think I gave them each between 3 and 4 stars. And so rereading them, and I think with the show, it just has so much nostalgia for me that these all are 5-star reads for me now. I mean, they're just so cute, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life once the show is over. I live for Wednesdays. Because the thing is so I could do, okay, I got my little Conrad Fisher shirt. I have 4 of them, and I'm gonna keep wearing them because I'm so in love with it. Here's the thing, okay? So you start Monday, and you're oh, it's a Monday, but I only have 2 days until the Summer I Turned Pretty episode. Yay! Then you get to Wednesday, and you're yay, it's the new episode. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna involve. I'm gonna get on TikTok and get so engrossed in it and get caught up on everything and yay, that's so exciting. Cool. Then you get done with that and you're oh, episode's over. Oh, but we only have 2 days till the weekend. Okay, great. I can make it 2 days till the weekend. And then you get this short little cycle of things, and it's so wonderful. But now I'm just what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do with my time in my life? That's the questions I have. And I just don't know. So let me know in the comments what we're doing to cope with our Summer I Turned Pretty being over. Next, I went to another ARC that I got, another e-ARC. This was The Summer for Us by Isabella Camilla. And it was cutesy little small town vibes We had Wes and Juliet, Grumpy Sunshine. I wouldn't even say it was Grumpy Sunshine. It's like grumpy for like only her until he gets to know her, because he's like super protective kind of vibes. So that was like super fun, very slow burn. And it was just, I gave this a 3.5 stars because it was just a super fun, cutesy little summer read. I adored it. I thought it was so much fun. Can we just take a shot every time I say that it was so much fun? Because it's summer. They're summer reads. Of course they're gonna be fun. Julia and like was such a like enjoyable, likable character. She actually like had some growth throughout the thing, which I think was really needed. It wasn't just like, oh, now I'm like magically different. Like you got to kind of see her evolve as a character, which I thought was really cool. And Wes is like so driven. He knows what he wants, but he's so caring. He's just a big teddy bear. And so I just loved them together, and him kind of like taking on that protective figure that she kind of really needed. And it was just wonderful. There's a lot of spoilers, but it was a good ending. It was a fantastic ending. I was very excited, and I hope that this, like, I believe there's going to be another book, and so I'm excited to read it. I will. The only reason this is a 3.5 is because, like, for me, a 4, like, quick side note, bring in the like bullet points here for Lauren's ranking system. Okay, so a 1-star read, it's amazing that I made it through. I almost DNF'd it, but like there was probably something small keeping me involved. A 2-star was like, wow, I was disappointed in just about every aspect of this book. Cool. A 3-star is something that like, I enjoyed this book. I liked it. I thought it was fine. I would recommend it to other people. Cool. But that's all that was. It will not be stuck in my memory. It was a fun little time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I would recommend it. If somebody was like, hey, should I read this? I would be like, yes, absolutely. I probably wouldn't recommend it. But if you came to me and you were like, I'm thinking of reading this, what do you think? I'd be like, yes, you will enjoy it, because it's an enjoyable read. It's just not memorable. It's not something that a month or 2 from now I'm going to be like, oh, do you remember that book? No, I will not be doing that. And then 4 stars is I will remember it. It's going to stick with me. 4-star for me, I'm going to recommend it to you. I think it's going to be like everything that you want it to be. Like 4-star books typically are just something that don't quite have that 5-star feeling. They're just missing that one little piece to it that if it would just have this one thing, then it would be so unbelievably perfect, and that's all I would need in life, right? So like 3 stars is a high rating for me. I love 3-star. I like 3-star books. I love 4-star books, and then 5 is obviously God tier. That's really all it boils down to. So anyway, back to this one. This was a 3.5 because like, while I don't necessarily like remember every little detail of it, I had such a good time reading it that it was so wonderful for summer. It had the perfect little small town, and I just can't wait to see whose story is next and how the story evolves. And it was just wonderful. So thank you so much to Luna Literary Management for allowing me to read the E-Arc, and to Isabella Camila, because it was a good old time. Then up next, I did read none other than Silver Elite. Now, this is a book that like, I gave it 4 stars. I cannot wait to read the next one. I want the next one out. I want it out so fast. I don't understand the hate around this book. And the thing is, I don't think it's necessarily hate. I am a firm believer that this book got marketed incorrectly. It is a ghostwriter, right? A ghostwriter pen name of a very well-known romance author. So we knew going into this that this was going to be fairly romance heavy. I mean, like, it's a little bit dystopian. So like, people were trying to compare it to Divergent and like The Fourth Wing and Hunger Games and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is not this. This is not this. And so like, everybody that's saying they don't like it, I genuinely believe just got a little bit too much into the, well, it's supposed to be like Hunger Games, and it's not. It's not. It wasn't. It's a dystopian kind of vibe. Sure. So it's in the same genre as the Hunger Games, maybe, kind of, but it's also a romance. That's what it is, you know? And so like, I really wish more people would give this book a chance. And I think that if you want to read it, go into it with a really open mind and make your own opinions on it, because I loved this. I do understand how people could think that like, there was a lot of, I shouldn't like him, but he's so hot. She's a romance writer. I also think it's like important to note that this is part of a series. So part of what I really loved about this is how excited I am for the next one. This is one of those books, and this is kind of like, there's another, not that I read, but I just read it, that I think I rated this one higher because of how much potential it gives, setting up the next book. And I love that. I'm totally okay with reading a book that doesn't have a whole lot to it, knowing that it's going, like, you can just sometimes feel that the next book's going to get better. And that's what this was. So I gave it 4 stars. I highly recommend it to really anybody. Up next was another e-arc. So thank you so much to HK Green for allowing me to read Playing with My Heartstrings. This was a cutie little, like, The Voice meets The Bachelor, make it country, put it in Nashville, and it was so fun. Here's my thing is I feel so bad because I got the dates wrong on when it was supposed to release. So I did not get it read by the release, and I am deeply sorry for that. I gave this a solid 3 stars. I thought this was a fun time. It is not on the downfall, but it's a country singer that needs his reputation kind of like a refresh, whatever. And she sings, but she works on the show. So she's never sang in front of an audience or anything, but she like enjoys music and whatever. He gets on the show and she ends up at like a karaoke night where a video of her singing goes viral and ends up on the show. And so it's a lot of that, like, he doesn't know where she came from or how she got on the show. And he just knows that, like, she's there kind of. And so, like, it's really fun. The only reason I think this didn't get a little bit, I gave this a solid 3 stars. This was such an enjoyable read. The only reason I think I didn't rate it a little bit higher was because sometimes the dialogue of them being off camera felt really forced. It felt like it was still on camera dialogue. So sometimes that got a little bit it just felt really formal and stiff. But overall, like, I loved the plot. I loved the way they did this. I now want more of these with other people and do a bachelor bachelorette where they go back and forth kind of thing. I need like 4 books. It would be fantastic. And just like, I will read all of them because it was such a good time, like, going back and forth. Then, as you guys know, I do like to read some nonfiction before bed, and I try to go like nonfiction before bed and all the rest of it before that. I like a good self-help book. So I did finish The Let Them Theory. I give all nonfiction memoirs 5 stars. I think if you have the ability to write a book that is like either about your life or like nonfiction, something that you are like incredibly educated in, things like that, you should get 5 stars, because at the end of the day, I couldn't do it. I like maybe could piece together something fiction and like a story, but like nonfiction, absolutely not. And so if you've taken the time to write your story or like write a book about something that you are educated in, 5 stars is going to help you get that book out to the people it should be out to. And so like, while yes, I can honestly, like, that aside, I gave this 5 stars and I would give this to 5 stars and I would recommend anybody and everybody read it. I thought it was fantastic. Actually, I listened to it and she does the narration, so that's super fun. But like, this was a phenomenal book. But I just believe that, like, I know some people don't rate them and I understand that theory too. I just think giving them the 5 stars is going to help it get the visibility that it needs to get into the people that would really benefit from it. Same with memoirs. Even if like I don't necessarily resonate with the memoir, giving it 5 stars is going to give the opportunity for that person's story to get out to the hands that it should. Up next, I have been trying to use my Libby more, but I can't really find a good way for it to like mix in with the way I kind of currently read. So I did just kind of like poke around on there and I picked up Heartstopper Volume 5. I know Volume 6 is supposed to be coming out. I know like there's one in the works or coming or whatever. And like, this is just a 5-star book for me. Nick and Charlie will forever be my comfort world. It helps that they're also like, they're my comfort couple. Like, I love them so much. I like a graphic novel. I'm trying to get more into graphic novels and manga and things like that. And so like, it's just an easy 5-star. It's an easy 5-star. It's a quick read. I absolutely love it. I cannot wait for Volume 6 to come out. Then we also read Serpent and Dove. If you follow me on the TikTokies, I do my TBR roulette, trying to get through some of the backlog of my ebooks. And this was one that I spun. And so we read this on the Nook and it was like good. I gave it a 3.5 stars. And then obviously Goodreads, I did bump it down to 3 just because this is another one that like I'm excited to see what the next books hold, but this one was just slow. I liked Lou, I liked Reed as individuals, and once they finally got together, I think like they did really pair as that perfect kind of quintessential opposites attract. And like this is a YA, so like the amount of like slow burn in it felt really natural for a YA. So I'm really excited to see kind of what evolves of their relationship, but I felt like it probably needed just a little bit more in this one to do that. This is a fantasy YA romance. Lou is a witch and Reed is a witch hunter, so it's that dynamic, and they're trying to kind of like navigate that, I guess, because he gets forced to marry her, so it's a marriage of convenience as well. Very cute. I do eventually plan to finish the series. It just started a little bit slow, so I'm hopeful that the next couple books pick up. Then, as you guys saw, I did a reading vlog. We are into July now. The last book was the first book of July. So then I did a reading vlog in the early July of trying to read my backlog of Carly Fortune, which was all 4 of her books. I did only get 2 done for that one, Every Summer After and One Golden Summer. And these are just, I love these books. I love them. I love them, I love them, I love them. Obviously, Every Summer After was a reread for me and it was originally 5 stars. I read it again. It's still 5 stars. Like Sam and Percy are just, this book alone. Now, this is like, these are very much standalones, but I do think you should read this one before you read this one, just because this one is really good too. They're both 5 stars, obviously. This book in like its entirety very much feels like an adult version of The Summer I Turned Pretty. So I think this got picked up on Prime Video, and I am beyond excited for how they're going to do that, because like it does. It feels, I'm going to try to do this not very spoilery, but like you may want to skip to the next book if you don't want to like hear much about it. You can also go watch my vlog on it, obviously. Fun things. I'll like put it on the little thing, you know. But it's like, it's 2 brothers. One girl grows up in the same like island area. They grow up together, and then we meet them though because she comes back to town for their mom's funeral. So like that happens in like the first 2 chapters of the book. So I'm not giving anything away. And so like we get like, it's set in like flashbacks on them growing up together, and like her and Percy and Sam. The difference between like The Summer I Turned Pretty and this one is like, it's always been Percy and Sam. There was never any question, never any doubt. There was just one bad moment. So like they kind of destroyed it all. And so it's just, I just love it. I loved it. It was so good. And it really, like reading it so close to and watching every week The Summer I Turned Pretty, I realized how much this is just kind of an adult version of that. So 5 stars, highly recommend. And then obviously go pick up One Golden Summer after that, because again, this is another 5 star. This is Charlie's. Charlie is the older brother of Sam. And I was really nervous going into it that I wasn't gonna like Alice. And like at the end of the day, I loved her. I loved her for Charlie. The more you get to know her, the more she opens up, which is like super intentional, I feel like, because she also then like opens up to him more too. And so this was another such a wonderful 5-star read. Kind of the same thing. Like this one doesn't have as much of like the flashbacks. So you really just get to like know them and let them grow together. And so like, it was just lovely. Next up was another wheel spin on my TBR roulette. I got Friended, a nostalgia fanfic. This had to have been something free that I got a long time ago, because I used to do that where anytime I could get a free book off of like BookBub or whatever book outlet, I would just get the free one because I read so much so fast, and then obviously like kind of whatever about it. So this is Friended, a nostalgia fanfic by Kilby Blades. It's a modern love #1 is what it is. And essentially it's a YA romance in which they use like music and Instagram and like social media to connect. I don't know, dude. I gave this 1 star. I could not, like, this is one of those things that the only reason I did not DNF it is because like the actual plot I enjoyed, but it was just, this book came out in 2017, 2018, whatever. But it talked about social media as though we were like on MySpace. It was super cringy. And like even the writing and the way that they would like, all of the guys in the book went from being like super dude bros, but then being like overly soft and gentle and sentimental and wonderful and whatever. It was just the writing in it I couldn't handle. And then all of a sudden we're getting like, it's supposed to be YA, but like it got spicy, dude. And I'm like, no, they're high schoolers, knock that off. I couldn't do this at all. Literally the only reason I finished it was because I wanted to see if they ended up together. couldn't do it. And then this proceeds to kind of put us in a slump for a little bit because I was like, I need something good. So next up I read Hotter in the Hamptons by Tinks. This is a book, guys. It was fine. 2.5 stars. This was a book. The main character annoyed me a lot. And then I feel like she just had like zero growth throughout the whole book. We get to the end and she, like, spoiler alert, but like, I'm fine. I won't even spoil it because it was just whatever. But we get to the end of the book and I'm like, oh cool, so this is gonna happen, and it doesn't. And so then the ending feels really out of place. This was fine. It had some really cute moments. A lot of the banter was really fun. The plot in it was fine. There was just so many, like, it was a book. It was a book and I read it, and that's good for me, I guess. Then we proceeded to get slightly better, and I got a e-arc of Well Actually by Maisie Eddings. I gave this a 3 stars, but on Goodreads, but really it's a 2.5. I thank you so much to St. Martin Griffin and NetGalley for allowing me to read it. And like, I liked the story behind it again. I thought it was really cute. It's basically kind of like a Hot Ones ripoff where Ava is the host of a show in which she interviews like C and D list celebrities while eating hot dogs because that's funny. I don't know. But the problem is I don't like her. She's just mean. And like, then she like blows up on the internet dissing this guy that is like, also has a podcast named Riley. And I love me some Riley, which is probably why I rounded it up to a 3 and didn't bump it down to a 2. Because like, then they kind of like come together because they knew each other and they reconnect, and then they do this podcast thing together, and they do this whole like not fake dating, but like give me a chance to redo things kind of trope. And it was really cute. It's just that Ava was just mean. And like, I've seen a lot of discourse around it being like, oh, finally a book for the mean girls. This is my hot take. I don't like that. You can be sassy and be like sparky and whatever about things, and like snarky and a lot of S words apparently, and like really witty and like full of banter and a smart aleck and whatever, without just being mean. It felt so intentionally mean for somebody that like she's supposed to be like actually falling for. I don't know. I didn't like it. And then she still called him Cooper in the bedroom. That's weird. That's his last name. Why are we doing that? I don't know. I also didn't like any of the side characters, which is weird for me because I love a side character. Didn't care for it. It left the whole book just feeling one-dimensional because it was literally just the two of them going through things, and they didn't bring anything else in. They didn't really take anything. I don't know. It was fine. I wasn't really head over heels about it. Whatever. Then we continued on a bleak beginning to July. Not in Love, Ali Hazelwood. I soft DNF this. I don't even remember how far I got into it. I just didn't care for it. The only reason I grabbed it, to be honest, is because I was really excited to read Problematic Summer Romance. And then I found out that was the second in the interconnected standalones for Not in Love, because it follows these characters then after. And I was like, oh, okay, well then I better read this. And I hated it. The thing is, I think I was in such a slump from the last 3 that I just really needed something sweet and cute and pure, and that's not this. And so I was like, okay, fine. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to hopefully pick this up later when I'm a little bit more in the mood for it, I think is kind of the way that needs to go for that one. So that's a soft DNF. I haven't hard DNF'd it yet. It will still go back. It's just we're not there yet. Thankfully, then I did read Problematic Summer Romance after. And, I gave this a solid 3.5 stars. This was very cute, and it was like really funny and bantery. I did round it down to a 3 though, just because again, like I tabbed it. I've been doing better about doing my little annotating, trying to anyway. It didn't really give me that like giddy, I'm smiling constantly, little kicking my feet, pitter, like hee. It was not that. It was not a hee. It was like, oh, so they are going to make it. Cool. And like, I wanted them to make it, and that was super exciting for them and me. So like, great. It was, like I said, it was very witty. And I think like Ali Hazelwood, a lot of her stuff comes across very witty, and like the banter is there because it's so intelligent. And I do really enjoy that. I think it's just like, partly I do think this was also just the timing of the book. Like I said, I needed something that was cute and maybe gonna giggle and whatever, and this just didn't. That being said, it was a perfect summer read because they're, again, I forget where. I'm not great with places. They're on a Sicilian villa. That's where they are for a wedding. And so like we get the vibes. We get the umbrella and the drink. We love that. And so it was great to read in July. Absolutely. And like, if there's another one, I will 100% be reading that. If you're taking drinks for every time I say that it was a fun little read this and then take a shot every time they use the word power imbalance. Yeah, didn't love that. So either way, this was a fun one. 3.5. I rounded it down to 3. It's a good time. It's a good time. It's a good time of a book. It just is. Then we got back to another e-arc. We read For the Record by Emma Lord. And finally, this is what I was looking for. This was the vibes that I wanted. This was the one that I was grinning and laughing and giggling and just kicking my little feet. And it was like, my little cheekies hurt. My cheekies hurt from how much I was smiling reading this. It was just wonderful. 4.5 stars. I did round it down to 4 because it just didn't quite make it to that 5-star status, but it was so sweet and perfect. And I love Mac and I love Sam and I love these characters so much. It was the perfect length. It was like, it had such like, it was so much fun. It was a quick read. Like, okay, so Mac used to be part of a pop band group and they kind of like dismembered and she fell back in the wayside, hasn't sung, hasn't done anything, whatever, but she kind of wants to like start up her own solo career. She doesn't really know how to do it. Sam is part of a punk band and he has like this bad boy rep and now his band's kind of falling apart too. So like he's trying to make a solo career and you know how it goes. The labels put them together and like, you're going to do this together. And they're like, oh no, we can't possibly do it because they like used to be the star-crossed lovers facade, but then it wasn't a facade. And it was just, I loved the like music background of it. It was such a fun setting. And I just, the chemistry was just so good. Mac is the kind that I wanted Ava to be in Well Actually. Mac is the kind that she's smart, funny, knows her worth. She's witty, she's sarcastic, she's sassy. She has that like mean girl persona while also being like kind and genuine, and she's just unapologetically herself. It was so good. I loved Sam. He was so like just witty also, and I just thank you so much to NetGalley and to St. Martin's Griffin for allowing me to read that e-arc because that was what I needed. That was the comeback we needed. Unfortunately, it didn't last because after that, we read Big Chicas Don't Cry by Annette Chavez Marcias. This was another one that the TBR Roulette gave me, and it was a disappointment, kind of, to be honest. I gave this a 2 stars, honestly. It was 4 women in the same family. So every chapter or 2, it wasn't even every chapter, switched perspectives on a timeline of those people. I couldn't get the story straight. I kept forgetting which of the women we were with. So then I'd get halfway through the chapter and then be like, oh, that's who we're with. Okay, cool. And it was like well over 70% done until I finally was like picking up on these storylines without having to like I wasn't having to think about it as I was reading. And it just got tiring. I like didn't want to have to pick it up and then figure out what I was doing. On top of that, we had the trope. It was an accidental pregnancy trope. She doesn't end up with the guy. And to make matters worse, it was she's a Catholic school teacher who's unmarried. So they took the trope and then they gave it freaking steroids. And so it was like, nope, I don't love the cliche. I just don't. And like, there were some characters that I did really enjoy, but then there was others that really fell flat. And no. 2 stars. Honestly, they probably should be a 1 star, but there were storylines that I did enjoy. So I was like, okay, yeah, a 2 star makes sense. All right. And just like in every other video, my camera is not wanting to camera today, but by the next video, I'm gonna have a real camera, and that's just genuinely everything we needed. So you know what? This is the last video with this quality, and that's gonna be just fine. And we're gonna move on, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be wonderful. It's gonna be fantastic. So let's continue on, shall we? as I have said for like the third time now, I did say I was going to finish Carly Fortune's backlog. I did want to read all of hers this summer. Yes, I did not get to the last one. That is just fine though, because we did at least get to the second Meet Me at the Lake, Carly Fortune. This is the second one. It is not related to Barry's Bay. It's just simply like her next book. Cool? Cool. I gave this a 3 stars. Here's the thing. I just feel like it kind of lost some of that magic of Barry's Bay that we're like used to and we know. And like I loved the plot. I loved Fern. I loved Will. I loved the side characters. Like everybody was wonderful. Where I think I got a little bit, and I honestly liked the like flashbacks back and forth and whatever. I think where I got a little bit lost on it was just the like idea that like they genuinely felt like very different people in the flashbacks. Like, I got confused how we even got to where we were because they felt like so disconnected as like from their younger selves to their adult selves. And like, I get that like you can use the whole like losing yourself because you're not with the right person as like kind of a trope, but it felt like neither one of them really knew what was going on. So I kind of got confused by that. And then the other thing that really bothered me, and this probably would have been a 4 star if it wasn't just like, or at least like 3.5 even. The problem is like the way the book ended, if it didn't end that way, they would not have gotten together. It felt so wild, so out of nowhere, completely disconnected that I was like, I don't know that you two should be together. Very wild. 3 stars. I would still recommend it if you're a completionist and just want to get through her entire like backlog of things. It was still a good book. There was a little bit of it that I was like, okay, I don't get it. Then up next, I got back into my TBR roulette and we got Love Like This by Sophie Love. This is part 1 of a 6-part. The Romance Chronicles is what it is, the like overall whatever. Now, I probably did this to myself, I will say, but I gave it 2 stars because like I was enjoying it. I was having a fun little happy time with it. Was thinking it was going to be like a 3.5. Thoroughly enjoying it. We were traveling. We're in not Italy. No, it was a little town in Italy, right? For the Love Festival. Scotland, maybe? Ireland. Yeah, she goes to Ireland for this Love Festival. I'm like, oh, that'll be fun. She's a journalist. That'll be cute. Like, we love it. Then I met the main guy, and I was like, oh, love Shane. He's so fun. This is gonna be fantastic. And I was like loving it. And then I started to really love the side characters. So me being me, I was like, I'm gonna go over to Goodreads and see who the next book is about, because this totally gave the setup for Interconnected Standalone. I was like, 6 books. We come to the same love thing every year and we meet a new couple and that'd be super cute. Or like, oh, maybe it's his friends, or maybe it's like different them traveling together and whatever. No. In the next book, they break up and she meets a new dude. And then this happens for 6 books. No. So, 2 stars. A lot of the personalities also just kind of fell flat for me, but I was like, I'm not going to get invested into a couple that I know in the next book don't make it. So 2 stars. We did get back into some cute like TBR list things. We got 2 Always Never Yours. This is a YA romance off of my backlog. So this book came out a while ago, 2019. This was cute. This was a cutie little book. I gave it 3.5, but I did round it up to 4 because like this is what I want and I remember YA books being. Like when I read YA as a YA reader, this is what I remember it being. And so I loved it. I love Megan, who has this really strong personality, but like grows and changes throughout the book. And Owen is just a little sweetheart. He's just a little like golden retriever boy, and he's just a little cutie. And it was so sweet, like just adorable. And it had like this theater setting to it, and like the Shakespeare, they were doing Romeo and Juliet. And so I love this. 3.5, rounded up to 4. We had a good time. Then we went back into ARCs. I got on the PR team, whatever you want to call it, for Prove Me Wrong by Rebecca Bertram. This is probably the first true romance that I have read, and I'll be honest, I probably should have gone into it reading a little bit more about it because it did really throw me off. Now, I'm also going to preface this by saying, please read the trigger warnings before you read this book. I don't have a whole lot of like things that really trigger me, but it's this book is way deeper than like I was anticipating. It was not a cutesy little like whatever. It was nope. It was very deep book. Very like heavy insta-lovey, insta-yearning, insta-romancy kind of thing, which I enjoy. So like it was I gave it a 3 stars. This was a very solid 3 stars. I really enjoyed it. It just was so much of like what I wasn't anticipating that I kind of had a hard time setting with it, if that makes sense. I would recommend it. I just think it would have to be to the right person and make sure that they kind of understand what they're reading. This is a single dad, girl next door turned nanny. And like, it was one of those things where like the more single dad romances I read, it's really hard to tell what age the kid is, because in, Strawberry Patch Pancake House, in that one, the daughter is supposed to be like 5 or 6 and she reads like 7 or 8. Like she has like full sentences and stuff like that, but like conversations. And so like, I also don't have a kid. I don't know. Is that fine? Maybe it's fine and maybe I'm overthinking it. Who knows? But either way, like in this book, she's supposed to be 2 and she just feels 2. It's just, she's little, it's cute. And so like, I really did enjoy the side characters and like the romance, like when we got there, and it was just like, I enjoyed it. I loved it. And I would read the next one now knowing what I'm going into. I think I saw somewhere that this is actually like it's not an interconnected standalone series just by Rebecca Bertram. I think it's one where it's a series of books. It's the Sunburnt Heart series, but it's different authors that have come together to write the different characters' stories. It's also Supercar V8 Driver, which is kind of fun. And I'm like starting to get into that a little bit. So like 3 stars, good time, fun time. Just like be careful. Be careful with what we're doing. Then up next, obviously, this is, I think, the first one that we got to. No, we're still in July. We're still in July. We're wrapping up July though, quickly. They said that season 2 of My Life with Walter Boys was coming out. So naturally it was time for a reread. I did a quick little listen of this one, of My Life with Walter Boys, the first one. And in 2024, when I read it for the first time, I gave it 3 stars. Then going back and like after watching the show, I'm just loving all of these adaptations. The Summer I Turned Pretty, All the Boys I Loved Before. I'm really scared, but I really want to watch We Were Liars. And like to My Life with the Walter Boys, like I loved it. Now, to me, My Life with the Walter Boys is a little bit even more different than the book versus the show than like The Summer I Turned Pretty. You know, like The Summer I Turned Pretty is very pretty like plot point for plot point the same, where My Life with the Walter Boys is a little bit more different. But like I loved it. I think when I gave it 3 stars to begin with, I went through a phase where I felt like I had to be really hard on every book. Like it was just like, I don't want to give out too many good reviews, right? Like I want to be like a book critic. It's like, if I'm having a happy, goofy time, I'm having a happy, goofy time. All right. It is what it is. And so like, and this was just a happy, goofy time. I just enjoyed it. I am #Team Cole through and through. And so like, I did enjoy her with Alex. I thought it was fun. I thought it was great. And I do think they were like what each other needed at the time. But I am #Team Cole. #Team Cole. And it was fun. I was very glad to like re-dive into that world. And then things just got even better, because then I finally got to Better Than the Movies, because I know that the paperback was coming out here shortly, which I did pick up, but like I knew it was coming out soon. So I was like, okay, Better Than the Movies. We got to get to this. Lynn Painter, she's from Nebraska, which is like super cool, which means this book is based in Nebraska, which we love so much. I tried to do more of the little tibby tabbies, the little annotating here, because it was super fun to have like all the Nebraska references and stuff. So like I will always be here for that. It's why I like Rainbow Rowell. It's why I like Fangirl and stuff like that, because I love the Nebraska connections. I loved Wes. He was so fun, and just the way that he was just witty, and like his silly little like shirts with the like punny little one-liners on it. What beats that? Nothing. That's what. And I loved when like she was getting Pretty Womaned. She still like stayed true to herself. I loved Liz. Liz was just a light in this. I mean, there were so many cute little moments that I just die for, man. It was so sweet. We got Omaha. So you think the 2 enemies in the real world can magically get over their differences and fall in love? I do. It's like the enemies. I think this is kind of enemies to lover, but it's like, nah, you know. He was being very un-Wesley nice to me. She's just kind of this nerdy, like, love-obsessed girl, and I love it. I told him you sing less now that you're kind of considered a hot girl at school. I'm considered a hot girl? Probably. I mean, you're not ugly, so it's possible. I had such a goofy, fun little time with this. This was the kind of like cheesy, cheeks start hurting, kicking your little feet. Fantastic time. 5 stars. 5 stars. Now we start into August. So we're getting there. We're wrapping things up. Take a little drink. Take a drink. Stay hydrated. Then back to an arc. Hard Count by Ginger Walls. This is the Newhouse University book 4. This is a football romance, which was super fun. They're in college, and it was Noah and Drew. Drew is the coach's daughter. Noah is like the king quarterback, but he's like insecure quarterback. He was so cute. I gave this 4 stars. I didn't even realize it was an interconnected standalone when I signed up for it. Again, yes, I know my fatal flaw here. I'm aware of what I do wrong. But it was like, I'm so glad that I did it because like I read it. I was like, oh, this is cute, whatever. And then I go and I look and I'm like, it's an interconnected standalone so I can get more of this world. I loved it so much. Both characters felt very genuine and like real and relatable, but in kind of different ways. So they play off each other very well. And like, I don't know how I felt about there not being a 3rd act breakup because they got together so early in the book that then it kind of just fell a little bit flat towards the end because there wasn't any like tension between the two of them. So like kind of like eh. And then like I loved the epilogue, but the epilogue like jumps so many years that I was like, okay, this also kind of just like, it's almost a little bit too far in the future. So that's the only reason I don't think I gave it 5. I couldn't quite give it 5 stars. But very good football romance. And I don't read a lot of like football sports romances. So that was fun. Then again, trying to get more into Libby. It's been a slow burn kind of thing, but I picked up another Heartstopper romance with Nick and Charlie. This is 1.5 and it's an actual book, not a graphic novel. And we're gonna give it 4 stars. I mean, this world is just so wonderful. I do think I like it better as a graphic novel. I like being able to kind of see them interact a little bit more. It was a little bit harder to get into as a book, but like nonetheless, I love that world. I love that world so much. I'm going to go back and read more of her other stuff because I love Nick and Charlie so much. Then I finally got to some book of the month and I wanted something to kind of start wrapping up my summer reads, start wrapping up the slowly getting into fall, kind of transitional books, things like that. So These Summer Storms was the perfect wrap to summer. It was like family drama. It was like Goodreads has it as a contemporary romance. And like, I do really like the romance in this. I would say it wasn't exactly like a full-fledged romance book. Gabby, one of my other favorite YouTubers on here, she said that it's like it gave very like We Were Liars vibe. And I agree, but in a good way. She says it a little bit more like kind of about it. But like, I loved We Were Liars the first time I read it. Doing a reread and going further into the series, it's kind of fallen really flat for me, but like, it was kind of the first suspense-ish kind of book that I read, so I really enjoyed it. Now, this doesn't have any of like the suspense or whatever. This is more like games and family drama and things like that. It gave the same vibes, if that makes sense. It's old money. It's like mysterious people hiding things that are secrets and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's not, how do I say this? I don't need a perfect family. Obviously, I don't want a perfect family. That's not real life. That's not even like whatever. When you have an underrated trope for me, I guess what I'm trying to say is a really messy family. I love when like you can just feel that every single character is like hiding something or trying to do something under the radar, or like there's this additional layer to things, and like I absolutely adored this. So this was a 4-star read. This was so good. Now, saying that out loud now, it makes sense because now obviously I just finished this a couple days ago, so like it's not in this wrap, but I did just finish the Inheritance games, and it's very similar to that, where it's just like money and mystery and like I love that. I love that, honestly. I so do. So that one was a fantastic read. 4 stars. Then I picked up a cutesy little romance next, Between the Pines by Amber Palmer. This is book 1. There's a second book out. I will be devouring the second one as well, because this was just cowboy romance. It's like time jump. It is second chance, small town, forced proximity, everything. Lincoln is just, I love Lincoln. He's so good. He's just so good. And like Josie, we love Josie. She's so relatable in the way that she's like just trying to do best by what she like thinks, but she just has always felt not good enough. And so her trying her best to be what she should be really falls flat. And then Lincoln just comes in and he's like, I know you. And it's like, oh, so good. 4 stars. Absolutely 4-star. We love a cowboy romance. I cannot wait to read the second one. Then we finished off the month with some physical books here. All We Ever Wanted by Emily Griffin. This one came out in 2018, so it is a backlog book for me. And this, like, I loved Something Borrowed. I loved Something Blue by her. I read them both and thoroughly enjoyed it. For some reason, this one, though, felt really flat to me. I don't know. There's some really deep topics in here that either they just kind of brush over or they never really get a good resolution for. And like the main plot, yes, kind of gets this nice like resolve and whatever. But then from there, it just kind of like, I don't know, there's just a lot to it that it's just... And I think also, like, spoiler alert here for a minute, I think I also just kind of have issues with books that don't have this nice little bow at the end. I want a happy ending. I want to know that everybody is okay, and like there was kind of this hint of this romance through here that just didn't pan out. And so I don't know, it didn't give me that like little wrapped with a bow kind of feeling, and it was 2 stars. I don't know, it was 2 stars. But it's okay, because we did end August in the Windy City. Ryan Shea, the man that you are. Oh, Ryan Shea. I get it. I understand the hype. Okay, friends, I understand the hype around this. This is a 5-star. 5-star. Now, I still will not take slander on Mile High. I love Xander and Stevie. I love them. I love the little nuggets you get in here. And then I think, honestly, one of the things that I love the most about reading this series, now that all of them, and I know who gets their own books, is when they show up and they get introduced, you're like, I can't wait for their book too. So this is basketball romance. Ryan is Stevie's twin brother, and he starts living with Indy. Well, Indy starts living with him. Indy is Stevie's best friend, and so it's like forced proximity. It's they end up like fake dating to kind of help Ryan's persona, and like as this like hot shot but like super secluded, he like shuts himself off from everybody because he's like the best and he doesn't want to disappoint anybody, so he knows that he has to just like shut it off so he can be the best that everybody views him as, and he can't make mistakes and all this stuff. But he also just loves so quietly. It's this quiet love. I mean, like, and that being said, there is a part that I'm like, oh, okay, no, actually, there's nothing quiet about what you just did, sir. But, like, in the lead up to it, he's, like, making her coffee and putting it in the fridge so it can cool down and doesn't get watered down by the ice she puts in it because she drinks iced coffee. And then even when they're, like, going through a fight and she's staying with Rio, he's like, you do this. You make sure that this happens. And it's so cute. So cute. I love it. It's 5 stars. It's 5 stars, and I can't wait to start caught up. I really can't. And there we have it. This is the last one. We read so many books this summer. Some good, some bad, some in between, all over the place. And we had a happy, goofy little time. It was fantastic. So, that being said, this was your summer wraps. Let me know down in the comments what you read. What did you read this summer that you enjoyed? What did you read this summer that you didn't enjoy? What books are you looking forward to for fall? Also, let me know in the comments, do you like these kind of longer form, doing something like massive, here's what I read for the last 3 months? Or would you rather me break it down and do like a this month, and kind of still combine it with like my TBR jar maybe, is kind of what I'm thinking. Either way, let me know. Like, subscribe, push the bell notification. We're trying to do this every other week, but you know the drill, sometimes that doesn't happen. So make sure you put the bell on so you don't miss the next time we post. It's gonna be another TBR jar, just like that. Months, they be coming and going and things. So make sure you like, subscribe, and as always, thank you so much for watching.